Suburbicon! Suburbicon! Matt Damon!
Matt Damon, yo.
It's reviews. And we're back.
Back up in here.
It's been a minute. We're a little behind, sorry.
Like we never left, but we left.
Exactly. So Suburbicon is what we watched tonight.
Yes.
We haven't seen a Matt Damon film for a little while.
Yeah.
Where he was leading a role.
Since like The Last Born, I would say.
Was there one?
Those Born, yeah.
Oh, okay. Not anywhere near that, I'll tell you that for sure. This is gonna be very short and sweet because I mean there's a lot to talk about, but at the same time, it's one of those movies where I don't feel I need to really talk that much about it. So quick synopsis on the film itself.
Yeah.
Basically, Matt Damon is a family man living in suburbia.
Suburbicon, right? This is the actual city, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like suburbia,
yeah.
Right? Like old suburbia. And apparently during these times, I was unaware of this because it is nowhere in the trailer or the preview, unless I just missed it. Maybe I was sleeping under a rock and I didn't see it.
They avoid all this whole part in the trailer, which
so apparently there's a large amount of racism in this film. Large amount. Which I kind of picked up from the initial trailer, like Suburbicon. They got people from New York, and they're white. People from Mississippi, and they're white.
Yeah.
People from, what was the other one?
Boston, isn't it?
Boston, and they're white. You know, I wasn't surprised on that one. So then the Myers move in.
Yes.
And the Myers are black.
Dun dun dun. Which is actually the dun 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 for this movie.
It really was, because like the mailman walks up and he's like, "Oh, here's Mrs. Myers' Home and Garden magazine. Can you make sure she gets it?" and she's like, "I'm Mrs. Myers."
And he's like, almost like he wanted to say, "But you're black." But yes. He didn't say that. But in his head, you could tell
he 100%
wanted to say that.
Then he starts walking away.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not gonna give her mail, and she's like, you have my mail," and he's like, oh yeah, I have. I forgot about that. And then he's like, "Oh, did you see your neighbors? Have you seen your neighbors?" And it's a very big deal throughout the entire film that there are black people in this all-white community.
And anything they did, they just got stared at by everyone.
Walking outside to get the mail, putting up their laundry, the whole nine. Anyways, but the other plot that's going on while all this racism is being depicted in the film is Matt Damon and his family suffer a home invasion, and they get tied up, and through all this, the family suffers a loss, which we've seen in the trailer.
Sure.
I don't want to say specifically, but I don't want to give away too much. And then it's basically his family and himself coping with that loss throughout the rest of the movie. While there's all this racism going on as well. So all is definitely not well in suburbia for sure in this movie. It was very slow.
Very super slow.
It's not a movie you can turn off and just enjoy. It is not a movie you can watch and expect the plot to come out in a moderate pace that's enjoyable. It's very slow. Very slow. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and probably give this a 1.5. 1.5. I do not believe in my heart of hearts that you need to watch this in the theater. Yeah. Heck, I mean, even if someone's paying for you to go watch this movie, I don't think you need to see it. When it comes out on home video in like 2 months, I wouldn't even watch this like on a slow day.
Yeah.
Like it'd have to come on randomly.
Like
when I'm like working out or maybe cleaning the house. Like if it comes on the channel that I already had it on, I'll be like, "Oh, what's this?" and it would just be on in the background. I don't even think I would pay attention.
I don't think it would even stay on that long.
Yeah.
Like, if you turn it on, it'd be like, okay, cool. And then you're like, what? Why is it? I'm not even. Like, what's the point? Like, it's just, it's bad. He gave it a 1.5. I mean, heck, 1.5 is about the same. I mean, unless you're like a Matt Damon fan, you might give it a 2, just because Matt Damon. But even then, he couldn't save the movie.
His performance doesn't even pick up until the end.
Yeah, it's like he can't even do anything to save the movie. I think.
How long was that? Like almost 2 hours?
It wasn't even 2 hours, I don't think. It was like an hour and something, and it felt like you were in there for 3 hours.
Like really long. It took, I would say, probably like 50 minutes before it even got remotely interesting.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I was just watching like a hate film.
Yeah, like you see a lot of the plot coming. It's quite obvious of like what certain plots and stuff is coming. You're just like, all right, and it just doesn't really pick up, or I guess when it tries, it was already over by the time it starts picking up.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't. It's just a slow movie, and there's just so much racism in it that just makes it even less enjoyable to watch. Because there's no point to the racism in the movie. It's almost like every time you see the scene, you're like, so what does this have to do?
And to Ian's point, I think the only, I mean, there are tons of other things. There are tons of other subplots that they could have used to mask the main plots, but for some reason, the writers, which I think it was George Clooney and some other, like 2 other people, they chose to use racism,
like 50s
as their huge plot driver, undertone on this, right? Like the cable guy did it right. Yeah. Remember there was that whole like chase. Yeah. Remember? And then at the end, like he falls on the satellite, and then he's like, I gotta kill the babysitter. And everyone stops watching TV, and they look, the outside. Yeah. Right. This not so much. This is very in your face.
And there wasn't even like a resolution at the end of it or anything. It was just like stuff happened. And then it's just the next day, and
we don't want to get into too much.
Yeah, I'm not getting into spoilers, but stuff happens, and it's like it just moves on.
So we'll cut it here. So at best, this movie gets a 1.5 stars from us out of 5. And this is where we'll go into spoilers.
There's not a whole lot to spoil, really.
You really need to watch. You need to watch this part actually, because we're gonna save you some time and money. We wasted 90 minutes of our lives, so you don't have to. Yes. You're only going to spend about 10 watching this video.
With this part on, you can see it, and then you'll be like, thank you for not making us waste money and time to see this.
So, Matt Damon orchestrated the entire thing to get some insurance money so he could get with the sister. That was it. That was actually the whole premise of the movie. Yeah. While that was happening.
The robbers are the people he hired, or whoever it was, they hired to basically kill the wife.
There's a little bit more of a plot because he was trying to do his own business, and he lost some money, and it involved a loan shark. But they never actually even explain.
They never get into why he needed the money, and I think that's part of the movie. He was going to Aruba, and Aruba was like the big, huge thing with him and the sister-in-law running away to Aruba.
And his original wife was like his big thing. Remember, he was like, "Oh, Rose loved Aruba." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and it was weird because they're the same person.
Yes, the same actress plays both the wife and the sister, and then when the sister, his wife Rose, is murdered, then the sister, who is Maggie, automatically picks up the wife roles and duties. And there's an interesting sex scene, not very showy, but Matt Damon has a paddle, as in ping pong paddle, and his pants are dropped, and homegirl has her little thing. You can tell she's basically in the position, and he's paddling away. Which is the scene where the kid in the trailer has a knife. Basically, he's going down there thinking someone's being attacked, and it's basically his aunt being paddled by his dad. So, which I totally don't think that. I mean, that scene was pretty much unnecessary.
It did need to be.
I mean, you already know they're getting it on.
Yeah, it's just so that the kid knows for sure that's what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But even then, it didn't really matter because the kid doesn't do there's no consequences or anything that happens for any of this. All this stuff happens, to show this character something, and the character never does anything about it.
The ending reminded me of American Psycho, where like nothing really happens to him, right? But at least that movie was interesting all the way up until that point.
Yeah.
This is kind of like,
like nothing happens, and then it just like the way it ends, the kid just going to go play baseball. It's like, okay, like, what was the point of all this then?
Yeah, at the end, Matt Damon is telling him, "I don't want you to be friends with that black kid anymore."
Yeah, which makes no sense because the whole movie he doesn't even care about the black family. Like the entire movie, he never says a word about them, never talks about them, never even acknowledges that they're next door.
Nope.
And then at the end of the movie, he's like, "Don't be friends with that black kid." But my whole thing, he doesn't even ever see him with the black kid. Because there's a scene where he talks like, "You have no friends," because he never saw them together. So how are you now telling him that?
It's kind of random that he would say that.
That don't be with the black kid now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but you've never seen them together. Like the only time he actually hung out with them was because the mom told him to do it.
And then he actually started liking hanging out with the
Yeah.
kid. Because he was lonely, basically. So.
Yeah, so he was lonely, he was forced to do it, he hung out with the kid. But my thing was
But then he started actually enjoying hanging out with the kid.
Yeah.
Because he was nice.
And they always snuck around and hung out, so I'm like, how the heck does he even know he's hanging out with them?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just weird. It was just, like, the ending made no sense.
A lot of gaps in the story, for sure.
Yes.
So, at any rate, it's been another AI reviews.
Like, that's pretty much what the movie makes no sense. I mean, the black family basically, there's a riot to stop the black family from staying there.
It was funny because the all-white community were singing hymns, and then they went from hymns to right. They're singing all this Christian church music.
To a riot.
Which, I mean, to be honest with you, I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna do it very politely. They're gonna protest that they don't want these people here.
Like at first it was like basically politely, like they made music around them and they'd sung around them and they never got their property. They just stayed just on the outside.
And then the next day, apparently since that wasn't working, they started getting like
full
marching band music.
Yeah.
And then from marching band music, it was full on riot, like you said. I was like, whoa, that escalated way too fast.
Yeah, they like torched the car and then randomly just put a Confederate flag in the window, and then they were like, "We're good. That's all we need to do."
They're like, "Yeah,
we burned your car, and we put a flag there." And then
I personally thought it was awesome that the cops were beating the shit out of those people that were messing with the house, though. That was awesome.
But it was even like there was only like 5 cops, and it always felt like
it was like 12.
But I mean, even then, like there was like 100 people around the place.
There was not enough cops to police that.
And it was kind of like they were just like, well, we're gonna stay back here just because we're gonna stay back here, and we're not really gonna do anything. And when the dude broke the window and put it there, they kind of were just like, okay, we're good. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, no one went after him.
Yeah.
I think they already had their hands full.
Basically, they were like, look, Confederate flag.
But that one guy that tried to run into the wall though, he got his butt kicked. that cop was like Billy clubbing it up. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So I mean. Yeah.
And then the next day, it's like they're just cleaning up, and then he finds, I guess, the Bible. You never know what he actually really finds in the glove compartment. It seems like it was something important, like he was going to show the wife, and then...
Oh, I don't know. Maybe like his registration or pictures or something.
Yeah, it seemed like something survived the fire, and he was like, oh, look, it's actually not that... Okay. I guess that wasn't that important.
Yeah, it just transitions to her looking out, and some, like... 2 other of the like white neighbors helping them clean up.
And then it cuts to like the neighbors like taking interviews about how their neighborhood is messed up because this family's here and there's a bunch of violence and someone died in a car accident and because this black family's here.
Yes, and somehow it all came because of the black family moving there. Not because they started anything or did anything to incite violence.
Yeah.
So
it was just like it didn't make any sense. There was no like ending or conclusion. It was just like okay, so it's the family staying and everyone's happy that they rioted for like a day.
And I guess if I were to take everything out and just only look at it from a I don't know, maybe like a philosophical or like search for deep meaning in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there, but you know what? I didn't even care enough to go that far.
I think they were trying to do that part, that scene when he's talking to the kid and he's talking about how like the people that killed the mom or whatever are monsters. At the same time, they're cutting back to the whole riot to kind of show that, hey, people with racism are also monsters or something. But it doesn't really come across that well. Like, you have to really just kind of like, okay, I guess he's talking, but they're also showing there's racism, so it's like it's the same thing, but at the same time, it just doesn't come across like.
Or the other thing, right, is that there's a lot of bad things going on in suburbia, and sometimes other issues are masking murders and family issues at home, unhappy husbands, unhappy wives, plotting sisters.
Yeah, they're going around killing everybody, but we're worried about the black family down the street.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah.
But we're the ones that riot and try to burn their house down. So, yeah.
It's just the waste of time. Like, the movie.
We're going to review a happy movie next time or something.
Thor next week, yo. Thor.
That's going to, well, not next week.
Yeah.
Next Thursday to be exact, yes. And ignore this. That's probably going to be a mediocre.
That's
film at best.
2 weeks after Thor.
That's after. So this will come later. Anyways,
the League is coming. I'm not really hyped about it. I just wanted to say it.
Yeah. Anyways, comments, subscribe, share.
Share this. I mean, yeah, save a friend from seeing Suburbicon.
Yes, share and let people know not to support these types of movies.
Yeah, it was.
I honestly don't even know. Well, I guess you could put it in a genre, but I wouldn't even waste my time doing it.
It's like a racist, non-good drama.
Yes, bad. On a side note, Stranger Things drops at midnight.
Stranger Things.
Yeah. We will have a review for that.
Yes.
Probably this Saturday or Sunday.
Probably Sunday.
Yeah, probably Sunday. Well, until then, peace.
Peace.